Hello and welcome to the video, everyone. So as you can see from the title, this is all going to be a video about solar heaters, so using the sun to try and principally heat water. Like many of you, I've got a Laz-Y-Spa, so an inflatable hot tub. We've got the Miami, so it is only the baby one, and also my children have got one of those pop-up swimming pools. So I thought I would try and make something that allowed us to try and heat both. I'm under no illusion about what we're going to achieve with this in the UK, but I thought I'd do it anyway. I've seen lots of videos. People are certainly getting some amount of free heat out of them, so I thought I'd give it a go. It's going to be slightly different. I'm quite invested into smart home, and particularly around the Samsung SmartThings ecosystem. So I want this all to be automated. I want it to be monitored. I want the switching on and off. I want it to work out what it's best to heat at what times. I want that all to be done automatically. And of course, you know, through it also means it's quite easy to integrate it with Alexa. And who doesn't like asking Alexa good stuff? So this first video really is just going to be focused on what am I going to do, what's the plan, and then I'll probably start tackling some of the first parts around temperature. What you're going to see in these videos is quite a mixture. There's going to be some electronics, there's going to be building some stuff, and then there's going to be some testing it all out and probably some laughing at the end if none of this works at all. Just before we get into it, it's always worth thinking about what it is we're actually going to try and achieve with this. So principally solar heating, electric solar, whatever you have is principally based around saving money, at least certainly, you know, for a consumer in the UK. Now, I do have solar hot water on my house, and yeah, it's pretty good. Personally, it was on here when I bought the house for the cost of what it costs to install versus the payback. So because it's straight into hot water, there's no feed-in tariff or anything. It just means a bit of free hot water, frankly. I certainly wouldn't have done it. I think the payback is probably 15 to 20 years. So again, this is not about saving money. Yeah, you might save a couple of quid, but when you think about the cost of all the stuff that I need to build this, certainly the time that I'm going to invest into it, it's really not worth it. However, saying that, at the moment, only our hot tub is heated. So obviously with all Laz-Y-Spas, you get the heater. So ours is running. I think I'm spending, I have been monitoring it with the smart plug. So I have been monitoring the spend, and it's costing me anywhere between sort of £30 and £40 a month to heat the hot tub, which isn't that bad. It's pretty inconvenient though, because the timer's fairly crap, and so you can set it to come on the next day, but you can't set it on a routine, and just because of the way it works, you can't do it with sort of smart plugs and things, because when you turn it on, you then got to actually turn the heater on. So it's all a bit crap. I'm kind of hoping that this will be a little bit more convenient. I do expect to top it up with the heater as well. However, the swimming pool isn't actually heated at all at the moment, and it is pretty cold, frankly. The kids do make me go in it, much as I might protest, and yeah, it's pretty Baltic. They've been in there with wetsuits and things on. So the idea being that, you know, if I could get 2-3 degrees maybe, I think that's a bit of a win on the pool, because at the moment it's not heated at all. The other reason for doing it is it's just because I can. It's just an experiment. Why not? I've got nothing to lose. Like I say, you know, if we calculate the return on investment at the end of this, it's probably going to be in the region of 20 or 30 years, and for a system that's not as good as just running an electric heater. But let's give it a bash and see where we get to. Okay, so let's move on to a bit of the plan, and you'll see the professionalism that I've gone to in planning. You'll probably know there are a number of different types of solar panels out there. So what's on the screen now is what's called an evacuated tube array. This is what I've currently got in my house for my hot water, as I mentioned earlier. It's pretty good. You can get some really good temperatures out of them. You know, we've seen the panel at 200 degrees, and this is actually my first choice for a solar water heater. However, the panels are quite expensive, and it will require a slightly different approach to what I'm planning at the moment, because obviously hot tub and pool water has chlorine in it. You can't run chlorine through these because you will just corrode the copper tips. So it will mean having elements in heating water indirectly, if you like, but that's fine, it can be done. But yeah, this is a preferred one. If I find a good second-hand one that's relatively local, I might pick it up and have an experiment with it. The second, and what we see a lot of on YouTube, is these kind of homemade DIY solar arrays, which is in essence a bit of black pipe in a box covered with a bit of perspex, and as you pump the water through, it warms up. You know, it's not rocket science, and you can actually just, for instance, for the swimming pools, just buy these, and it's basically just a bit of black pipe or a black mat, and you lay it out on the lawn. Of course, the ones that are enclosed and insulated are much better. And again, watching videos, you know, people are getting half decent heat out of these. So I'm assuming I'm going to go with this. This is a random picture. It's not the one I'm intending to use. I will be building one. It will probably be significantly bigger than this. But we'll come on to that in later videos when I actually get around to it. So here we are. So as you can see over on the left here, we've got our kind of pop-up swimming pool. I think it's 10 or 12 foot, and it's about 6,500 litres. And then we have on the right there our Laz-Y-Spa. Like I said, it is the Miami, and it's about 800 litres of water in that. And then we've got our solar panel as well. So what we need to do ultimately is something like this. So the swimming pool is about 10.5 metres away from the hot tub, and the hot tub is about 22.5 metres away from where I am intending to put the solar panel, if you like, or solar heater, which is probably going to be on top of the garage roof. So what we're going to need for this project, we're going to need feeds into it and feeds out of it from both the hot tub and the swimming pool. But of course, you know, we can't heat both at the same time. We'll just end up mixing the water. We could have two panels, or you could have two coils within a single panel. But my view on this is I just want to get the maximum amount of heat for one source at a time. So what we're going to do is use solenoid valves. So a valve there, as you can see, you know, that will take the input, so take water out of the pool or out of the hot tub, and then we can decide which one we're going to send up to the solar array. And we're going to have exactly the same as well on the output of the solar. So yeah, do we pump the outputs down to the swimming pool or the hot tub? Of course, we're going to need a pump in there as well. Now I know I could get some pretty fancy valves and do all of this in one, but by doing it separately, and it's likely this might be actually 4 individual valves as opposed to 2, it gives me much more control. One of the things we've got to think about is that if I'm heating the swimming pool and then I want to change and heat the hot tub, if I switch both valves simultaneously, all of the water that's in this system, which would have been pool water, so probably significantly colder than what the hot tub normally is, would be pumped into the hot tub. We're then probably going to cool it down a degree or two before we even start, and also because you keep the chemical balances different between them. You know, you don't want to mix the water. So by having everything slightly separate, I have complete control over it. What you're probably likely to find with something like this setup is early in the morning, you know, the panel may be warmer than the swimming pool, but it's not as warm as the hot tub. So great, you know, let's start heating the pool. Why not? Otherwise it's wasted energy. At a certain point in the day it'll be hot enough to heat the hot tub, so we'll switch it to that. And then either when the hot tub is hot enough, or you know, when the panel starts to cool down again and it's cooler than the hot tub, but it's still hotter than the swimming pool, we can start pumping water around the swimming pool as well. And of course, if I'm just feeling generous to the kids, I may say, you know, I'll go back to the old Laz-Y-Spa heater and heat the swimming pool for them anyway. So one of the things obviously we've got to do is think about temperatures, so we know when to turn what on. So the yellow triangles here indicate all of the temperatures I'm intending to measure. So number 1, top left hand corner, it's just the air temperature because, well, why not? Number 2, that's going to be the temperature that is coming out of the panel when the water is being pumped into the swimming pool. Number 3 is the temperature of the swimming pool water. Number 4 is the temperature of the water that's being pumped into the hot tub from the panel. Number 5 is the temperature of the hot tub, and number 6 is the temperature inside the actual panel. It's going to be a few experiments to work out what the difference between the temperature of the actual panel and the temperature of the water as it goes through and how many degrees it gains, but that's all something we're going to have to work out later on, so we can figure out what the differences are before we actually really bother turning this on. Right, so where are we so far? So not very far. I'll show you. I started talking about temperature, so I'm going to be using a Sonoff TH10 smart Wi-Fi switch to monitor the temperature. So as you can see, I just bought this on Amazon a couple of days ago. It costs 17 quid, and for that you get a Wi-Fi device. It's got a relay in it, so you can use it to control and run something else. So I'll probably use this to run the pump, but also as well it's got a temperature sensor. Now you will have seen that I'm going to take the temperature in at least 6 different places. Now one of the things about this Sonoff is that it's based on a ESP8266 chip even. Now that means that there's a lot of stuff. It's a bit like an Arduino, so there's a lot of firmware and custom firmware out there that you can run and you can flash onto this. So I'll be certainly doing that. What that does is, once you can see a single temperature sensor, it means you can wire multiple temperature sensors to a single input, as you got here. So each temperature sensor, as it comes when you buy them, has a code embedded in it, which means that you can run multiple of these in parallel on the same input and get all of the different temperatures. So what I've also done is bought some of these, £8.29. I've got another five temperature sensors coming. It's worth noting that you can see here these are the 3-wire versions, so you've got a positive, a negative and a signal cable. When they arrive, and in the next video I'll try and show you how I've wired them up, flashing the Sonoff TH10 so I can integrate it into SmartThings, and how I wire all of these up to give me all the different temperatures I need and integrate it into the SmartThings platform. So yeah, if you want to keep going, it's going to be fairly slow. I'll go into a little bit of detail on it, and like we say, it's winter, we're going to be focusing on some of the electronics now. Hopefully we'll get around to building stuff in a few months. Well, that's about it for today's video. It's really just kind of setting it up and setting the scene. I will obviously start moving on with part 2 around the temperature stuff fairly soon. Hope to get that up in the next week or 2, just depending upon how busy work is really. But yeah, if you fancy it, subscribe. Let me know comments. I'm always interested in your experiences with this sort of thing as well. It's both the electronic side of it and and the solar side of it. So if you want to put a comment below, I will try and look through them and answer them. Yeah, and let's just see how this goes. It could be an unmitigated disaster. I am very prepared for that. Or something might work, or it might inspire someone to do something a little bit different or a little bit better. So yeah, take care everyone, and yeah, catch up soon.